I want to take just a few minutes and show you something a little bit more advanced, although hopefully this won't seem like too much of a stretch for you because, again, we've been building up this knowledge base, this foundation all the way along. I want to group my Descendant selectors. Earlier, you saw how we could group selectors together when we have a situation where multiple CSS rules are using the same properties. We can start to combine them all together, and I showed you a couple of examples of that. I essentially want to do the same thing. I want to combine together two CSS properties into one CSS property to, again, make my code a little bit more slick, a little bit more economical and easier to use. That's the most important thing. So notice inside the two Descendant selectors that we've been working on, I have some similar properties. For instance, they're both using the same color. They're both using the same font family as well. However, there are differences. They're using different font sizes and different margin values as well. So what I want to do is I want to group together the similar settings and separate apart the different properties. So here's how I'm going to do it. First of all, I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra space here, and I'm going to get rid of the two properties that are the same, the two similar properties between the two selectors here. So in other words, the color and the font family. I'm going to select those two guys out of H1, this sidebar H1, and get rid of it. And same goes for the font family and the color inside the paragraph sidebar, just like that. So if you want, you can go and save and refresh and notice the change inside your sidebar. We lost our formatting. Well, temporarily anyway. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to group the two together by using the following method. I'm going to go # sidebar H1. So I'm repeating what I have above here, followed by a comma and a space. And this is where we start to group. And then I'm going to go # sidebar space P, followed by a space, followed by my curly brackets, just like that. So I've grouped these two Descendant selectors together, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and specify the font and the color together in one shot. So I'm going to go font-family, :space, and I used Trebuchet MT, followed by a semicolon. And then also the color that I want to use as well, :space, and then $, and I used 99CCFF, followed by a semicolon, just like that. Go ahead and save that up and refresh your browser, and now everything's all the way back to where we started. Now, again, you might be kind of scratching your head going, okay, I get how it functions. I get that we have two Descendant selectors and then one group selector, which is comprised of two Descendant selectors. I get how it functions. I get how all the pieces go together, but why would I bother doing that? Well, again, it's really about management and being economical with your code. You want to try and keep your code as lean as possible. But the other thing, too, from a management point of view, is we can come along and we go, you know what? The font inside the sidebar, Trebuchet, I'm not feeling it. I want to go with Verdana instead. Save, back over, refresh. And now both the H1 and the paragraph take on the new font because they're both grouped together, right? Or I could say, you know, this color, I'm not feeling it. I want to go with a white instead. So I'm going to go $FFF, followed by a semicolon, save and refresh. And of course, all of the text inside the sidebar adjusts, updates, because I'm making the changes right here inside the group selector. Now, I'm just going to go and undo those changes just by hitting Control-Command-Z on my keyboard. So anything that's going to be the same, I'm going to group them together. Anything that's going to be different, like font sizes, spacing, things like padding or margin, I'm going to isolate inside their own selectors. A slightly more advanced CSS technique, but something that's definitely worth knowing.